Watch the king of the liars lie like no other.
Zuckerberg's internal emails tell a different story. Take a look.
Quote, we need to do more, and we are being held back by a lack of investment. This memo has the date of August 28th, just weeks before that testimony from Antigone Davis, correct?
Sorry, Senator, I'm not sure what the date of the testimony was.
Well, those are the dates on the emails. Nick Clegg was asking you, pleading with you for resources to back up the narrative.
Hold on. Blumenthal took the Secretary of State took a $2.1 million bribe from Zuckerberg right prior to the Blumenthal race for his 2022 election. 39 towns took Zuckerberg bribes. Bridgeport took a $313,000 bribe, which led to the Gomes Games nightmare. Mr. Blumenthal here had me removed from the ballot, and Zuckerberg took a write-off on his tax return to even Norwalk for 51 grand. Where's the money? I'm in the Norwalk RTC. I don't know where the money went. The money was used. There is a clawback agreement. I sent out 60 subpoenas so far, and no one's answered them because the judge, Meyer, went to college at Yale, where Richard went, and Richard appointed him to the federal bench, and they have a confidentiality agreement. Here we go, folks. Listen to the man taking the bribes.
To fulfill the commitments. In effect, Antigone Davis was making promises that Nick Clegg was trying to fulfill, and you rejected that request.
Now, so Blumenthal in 5G took 18 bribes, okay? Charter Communications, 60 grand. Why? Because Blumenthal kept saying, is 5G safe? And they said, it's safe. There's not a single study showing that it's a carcinogen, or that it causes autism, or that it causes infertility, or if it causes the other 120 effects. This 120 same medical conditions caused by COVID. So Blumenthal fast-tracked the vaccine, which is not a vaccine. Big Pharma pays them. Oh yeah. 5G is a carcinogen. The World Health Organization says so. And there's 10,000 studies just on the UN's website alone. So Mr. Blumenthal is guilty of what he's accusing Mr. Zuckerberg of. Here we go.
For 45 to 84 engineers to do well-being or safety. We know that you rejected it from another memo, Nick Clegg's assistant, Tim Colburn, who said, Nick did email Mark, referring to that earlier email, to emphasize his support for the package, but it lost out to the various other pressures and priorities. We've done a calculation that those potentially 84 engineers would have cost.
Listen, Blumenthal is putting pressure on Zuckerberg for a bribe. This is exactly what happened when Blumenthal legalized Oxy, which is heroin, in pill form. So here we go. Purdue is operating under bankruptcy in Connecticut. All the judges that Blumenthal appointed are benefiting. There's so many topics where Blumenthal's involved with money laundering. It's not even funny, okay? Robo-signing. Blumenthal in 2010 went after robo-signing. Nothing changed except Connecticut legalized that the judge's pension could benefit from McCalla Raymer, who is owned by BlackRock, which manages the pension of the judges in Connecticut that Blumenthal appointed and put on the bench. So what's going on here? They have confidentiality agreements covering their asses, and they are granted immunity from the judges because Connecticut canceled its 25th Amendment, which was the right for a sheriff to arrest a judge for bribery, which Blumenthal took away. So here we go. Blumenthal is concerned about the kids, right? Well, if he was so concerned about the kids, when he was Attorney General from 2006 to 2016, a 10-year period, he arrested 400 human traffickers, and 0 prosecutions occurred. He gave the hookers awards from his office. They all have plaques on their wall from Richard Blumenthal, him thanking them for not snitching on the human traffickers so that these guys could accept all the bribes from all the lawyers, benefiting from all the catch and release, court actions, fees from the court, and mortgage mill fraud. So they just stole a $3.5 million home, a $10 million home, a $20 million home, a $20 million home in Greenwich, stolen. $12 million in equity, gone. A $3.5 million home in Norwalk. Equity, $3.5 million. The seller got none, got nothing. And Blumenthal knows. He was invited to the event.
Meta, about $50 million in a quarter when it earned $9.2 billion. And yet it failed to make that commitment in real terms, and you rejected that request because of other pressures and priorities. That is an example from your own internal document of failing to act, and it is the reason why we can no longer trust Meta and, frankly, any of the other social media to, in effect, grade their own homework.
Excuse me. This man knew that cigarettes cause cancer, okay, for 30 years. Are you kidding me? He's now killing everyone in Hamden, Connecticut. The Wi-Fi is 6 million times the legal limit, and he knows that people in Seymour are subject to 2.9 million times the radiation level, and he's accepting the bribes. And so is Chuck Schumer. And so is Menendez. Menendez, who works with Blumenthal, just got indicted for bribery the second time, and now he's guilty of obstruction. And Blumenthal's guilty of obstruction. He was sued a year and a half ago for his bribes in 5G. 5G is far worse on children than Meta.
The public, and particularly the parents in this room, know that we can no longer rely on social media to provide the kind of safeguards that children and parents deserve.
Excuse me. Pregnant women's amniotic fluid attracts RF radiation, and it cooks the baby's brain. And there is no warning on all the smart meters that Jim Himes and Richard Blumenthal say are safe, and Chris Murphy is involved up to his eyeballs with 5G for using it through the Department of Homeland Security to surveil Americans surveil and prosecute Catholics, parents. These guys are surveilling Catholics and parents and using the Patriot Act legislation and the FISA warrant bullshit. Blumenthal rewrote all the rules on FISA in 2013 with 18 Democrats and no input from a single Republican. Hold on a second. These guys are using FISA. These guys are using 5G. These guys are causing autism. And they're mad at Meta for Instagram. You must be kidding me. If you sleep next to the router, you will get brain damage. Your cells will stop functioning and they will not reproduce. They are causing autism everywhere in the United States. So in addition to forcing a vaccine that has graphene oxide, which is an antenna, they are using both the vaccine and 5G at the same time to A, track you, B, give you autism, C, give you cancer, and D, depopulate the world, okay? The RF radiation level in Poland and Russia is 10. The RF radiation in Connecticut level is 1,000. 1,000. The Trumbull Mall is 2,000. The Bridgeport Home Depot is 1,800. The Norwalk Home Depot is 1,900, twice the legal limit. All the parochial Catholic schools are over 2,000. And the Trumbull Mall is a death chamber, okay? It is a death chamber.
And that is the reason why passing the Kids Online Safety Act is so critically important. Mr. Zuckerberg, do you believe that you have a constitutional right to lie to Congress?
Senator, no, but I mean,
Well, let me just
you just put up a
clarify
bunch of
for
things.
you.
I mean, I'd like the opportunity
Let me
to
just
respond
clarify
to
for
what
you. In a
Who's the
lawsuit
liar?
brought by hundreds of parents.
He never went to Vietnam. I was 1 month old in Vietnam, and I fought like the bandit.
Some in this very room, alleging that you made false and misleading statements concerning the safety of your platform for children.
Excuse me. Radiation is much more important, and he's the defendant in 22 CV 01065. Are you listening? He is the primary defendant. He has been served. The Attorney General was defending him. The U.S. Attorney is defending him now. The U.S. Attorney had a duty to stop the radiation levels in Connecticut. And what'd they do? They defended Richard Blumenthal taking the bribes. What's going on in the election fraud case in Connecticut? Richard Blumenthal's son, Matt Blumenthal, is guilty of using the Attorney General, okay, Tim Holtzman, to provide a defense for private equity firms like Seidel, like Paragon, okay, there's 6 or 8, to fund and change the outcome of the ES&S voting, LHS, No Inc., Dominion, Diebold, go on and on and on with the Clarity, Seidel, criminal acts of these people involved in election fraud. And I was Mr. Blumenthal's opponent in the 2022 election in Connecticut. And he, through his son, wiped out every vote that I got, and I got a lot. And where are they? They're missing. The cast vote record is missing. The memory cards are missing. The election is a falsehood. It can't be certified. It says right in the manuals of every software, signed by the Attorney General. Well, hold on. He was the Attorney General. Okay? Mark Kohler worked for Blumenthal. He signed those contracts. Mark Kohler worked for Richard Blumenthal as Assistant Attorney General. He signed those contracts. Denise Merrill is a criminal, okay? Should we talk about who's a criminal? Stephanie Thomas is a criminal. Who else is a criminal? Oh, Ted Bromley is a gigantic criminal, okay? Ted Bromley was director of elections in Connecticut. Connecticut hacked 22 states, folks. 20 directly and multiple states indirectly, but Gartner Group in Stamford, Connecticut, Mr. Blumenthal had a condo in Stamford, Connecticut, and he wrote in the contract that he would never sell it to an Afro-American. Really? Why? Does that make him a racist? Well, I think it does. I'm not saying he's a racist. Hell, what he's doing to black American babies is pretty much genocide. This man is committing genocide, folks.
You argued in not just one pleading, but twice, in December and then in January, that you have a constitutional right to lie to Congress. Do you disavow that filing in court?
Senator, I don't know what filing you're talking about, but I testify
filing
honestly
from-
and truthfully, and I would like the opportunity to respond to the previous things that you showed as well.
Well, I have a few more questions.
Senator Blumenthal went on to ask Zuckerberg and the other industry CEOs for real support and cooperation in passing laws.
Blumenthal's killing babies. Zuckerberg is providing them with a social network. Okay, it's rigged. But for Blumenthal to call Zuckerberg a liar after Zuckerberg bribed every state to make Biden president and Blumenthal a U.S. senator, it is remarkable, folks. I think we should end it there because I don't want no short people around here no more, okay? Thanks. Have a great day. And Mr. Blumenthal's much shorter than me. Bye. Have a great day. I appreciate we have a huge, epic day today at the Stamford Superior Court. You should be 100% behind the effort today. The effort is epic today. Okay? When you hear what happened in the Stamford Superior Court, you will agree. Thank you very much for listening. If you could share this, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm taking an enormous risk here. I'm being followed by the Fusion Network. I've got cops threatening me in, 4 towns now? They want to destroy my campaign as a U.S. Senator, I've been told, and I recorded it, so I'm okay. And I've been threatened by marshals in at least 7 courts now. 7 courts. And I was assaulted in Bridgeport, and I want the goddamn video because I have a right. If I was assaulted inside the courtroom, I want the goddamn video. Yes, I'm speaking to the victim's advocate who tells me I'm not a victim because I'm probably a white guy.